Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is February the 6th, 2020. Strong hand. Golden age of the 2020s, baby. Having hype. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. In motion. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Apex predator. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. I'm offended by selling. Unconfiscatable. All right. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Hello, my elite friends. Check out all the links below. Follow me on Twitter, TechBalt, TechBalt. If you've got questions, I got answers. Type in Bitcoin Meister or do a super chat so I can see your questions. Otherwise, I don't see your questions. That's just the way the logistics work around here, dude. All right. I want to say you get the best guests in the space every freaking Friday on This Week in Bitcoin. This Friday, we're going to do an Asian-based show. We got Luis and Leo and maybe Ty Zen. Oh, it could be messy. I don't know if Ty's going to be on, but it will be early Baltimore time, New York time. It will be 10 a.m. That's 3 p.m. in London tomorrow, Friday. That's pretty soon. Maybe Ty won't be the third guest. Maybe there'll be another one. There's some technical issues going on. But Luis in the Philippines and Leo in freaking Hong Kong will be on. They're going to tell us about the disease. They're going to tell us about China. They're going to tell us about Bitcoin. It's going to be a fun time tomorrow, Friday, 10 a.m. in the morning, Baltimore time. And that's 3 p.m. in London. So that'll be an interesting show. I try to bring a different type of stuff here. And it will go a little beyond Bitcoin, but people are interested in this type of thing and how this virus is affecting Bitcoin. Who knows? We'll tie it all together. I always tie it all together, don't I? Speaking of tie, pound that like button. All right. So here, let's start out with the topic that I just found out about. Bitcoin as super collateral. This is from a guy, Fiat Minimalist. Good name there, dude. I'm going to read you. You got to check out this thread. It should get you pumped about the future of Bitcoin, but it shouldn't get you lending out your Bitcoin, okay? You control your own Bitcoin, but these big institutions, they will happily take your Bitcoin in the future and lend you some fiat, okay? And here are the reasons why. I am going to zoom through this as quick as possible. Bear with me. Check it out yourselves. It's linked to below. Bitcoin is quickly evolving into an asset that will become the ultimate form of collateral. Have been hearing more traditional funds/groups willing to accept Bitcoin as collateral in return for fiat loans at 6 to 12% per annum. The latest I know of is a traditional global multifamily office that specializes in share-backed loans and now have just branched out to Bitcoin-backed loans. Those family offices do. Typical collateralized assets in today's markets are 1, real estate, 2, shares, 3, bonds. With the exception of volatility, Bitcoin scores or will soon score better than all assets in all what makes a good collateral dimensions, such as liquidity, marketability, 24/7 availability, speed and ease of settlement, global acceptance, fungibility, etc. I mean, these are great qualities of why Bitcoin is better than real estate, shares, and bonds. Just that alone from this post is should get you excited. Because I always say, why have real estate? Why have shares? Why have bonds? You get into Bitcoin. And the banks and these lending institutions, they're going to agree. They're going to say, yeah, Bitcoin is better than those things. I want the best collateral for a loan. They're going to say they want the best collateral. They know Bitcoin is, and it's on its way of becoming this Bitcoin is super collateral. But anyway, going back, unlike most assets, Bitcoin is a bearer asset. So it's clearly unencumbered. Once lender is holding on to the actual Bitcoin, they can be sure it hasn't been pledged to 10 other parties simultaneously. Also, cheaper and more efficient than paying for title deed searches, lien enforcement. Yeah, you better believe that, because I've dealt with real estate before, and you got to get into all this third-party nonsense, go down to the courthouse, pay some dude for the title deed search, lien enforcement. Bitcoin, you just own the darn Bitcoin and you get the private key, okay? You don't have to worry about who owned the darn house in 1812 if they still have a claim on it. Okay, Bitcoin, you can tell I've dealt with this real estate stuff before. Bitcoin can be liquidated 24/7 and almost immediately, unlike real estate, which can sometimes take 1 year for resolution. Yeah, I know that. Or shares/bonds, which only trade certain times during the day, for which liquidity tends to dry up during periods of stress. Yeah, great point about the shares and bonds. Those people you use that are in those worlds. Oh, we can't trade them on Sunday, can't trade it on Christmas Eve, can't trade it after 9 p.m. Bitcoin all the time, baby. Best collateral out there. People are waking up to it. Super collateral. Love this thread. There's more to it. Check it out. Pound that like button. That should get you excited, all you finance freaks out there. Hey, by the way, something that's getting me excited. I just found out today. I definitely am going to be in Tel Aviv until July 27th. So I will be in Tel Aviv from April the 30th until July 27th for 3 months. I'm going to spend in Tel Aviv. So I've got my schedule set until July 27th. So if you're going to be in Tel Aviv, you're going to see me there if you're going to be at the Bitcoin Embassy. But I just want to make that announcement. So where should I go after July 27th, people? I have to be back in Baltimore for Rosh Hashanah on September 16th. So I don't know where I'm going to be between July 27th and September 16th. I'm thinking about Eastern Europe, some developing, well, not developing, but something like Romania or Serbia, or wherever, maybe Greece is Southern Europe, but who knows? Someplace that's cheap and that second city in Greece, not Athens. But I want to go to Serbia and what's that? The country that's just like Romania but isn't Romania, that's connected to Romania. I can't think of its darn name now. It's the poorest country in Eastern Europe. Anyway, enough of that. So we're going to talk about Chris Blec in a second. All right. But $10 from CS2. Thank you, man. He says Bitcoin does not need permission. Yeah, you better believe it. It doesn't. It's permissionless, brother. CS2. Thank you so much. Why can't I think of that darn country's name? It starts with a. What is that? It's between Russia and Romania. What's that country? Moldova. Oh, there you go, Rowan Q. Moldova. Pound that like button for Moldovans. And and I'm sure there's some pretty hot ladies in Moldova, because I knew some Romanian ladies that were pretty hot in Baltimore. And I tried to. Anyway, let's get back to the value your wealth in Bitcoin. Value your wealth in Bitcoin, not in Moldovan women. All right. Now, Chris Blec, he has been on the show before. And over time, he's changed his ways a bit. He was very Bitcoin-y at first. And then many of you are like, well, what happened to him? He's talking about DeFi right now. And he's into Ethereum. I respect Chris a lot. Chris is a smart guy. Chris is good at marketing. And he has got a video out there right now that is about DeFi. You might be like, why are you telling me about DeFi, Adam? First of all, expand your mind a little bit, because this thing is going to be big eventually. It's going to bring a lot of people into this space. But this DeFi video of his, he is not about fitting in. He gives weaknesses of DeFi. It's centralized, okay? You have to trust the individuals behind all these different DeFi projects. Watch the video. It's a good video, and you could see he's a good man, first of all. But second of all, here we go. You have to trust the protocol and the team. The name of it is The Risks of Unknown DeFi and Admin Key OPSEC. Okay? So when it boils down to is that there's a private key that's going to control these DeFi, the Ethereum addresses behind the DeFi, okay? I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. And that obviously, if it's a group of people that came up with and there's a management team of the DeFi project, some of them are going to have access to the key. Do you trust them? They could modify everything if they wanted to. They could change everything. They could run away with the key. So You have to trust the protocol. You have to trust the team. Their admin key can be stolen, changed by a malicious actor. You need to trust the smart contract is not getting hacked. He talks about specific projects, by the way, and he critiques specific ones and how safe he thinks each one are. There's a lots of centralization in this DeFi thing. You don't hear people talking about this. And maybe sometimes you hear people like obnoxiously ripping on DeFi. I mean, they can do that if they want to, but he is giving it a legitimate critique here. He's a fan of it, but he's and there's some of the keys. There's no multi-sig involved, and multi-sig can help protect. And there's time locks on some, and there's not time locks on others. And okay, so Chris cares about the long-term stability and getting rid of the chances of bad stuff happening in the DeFi space. And it could hurt the Ethereum price short term, exposing the stuff that he does. And he implies that some people are worried about the short-term Ethereum price in this DeFi world, and they don't even bring this stuff up because they're not long-term thinkers. He doesn't care about fitting in. He is a true radical, and he cares about the long-term safety of this DeFi stuff. So say what you will about DeFi. I think this is a very honest video about it, and learn from it. Of course, I am a Bitcoin guy. I am not telling people to get into to DeFi, but and what Chris is saying here too is that if people don't wake up to this, that there's going to be a DeFi project one day where an insider will run away with the private key and steal everything, and it's going to be big news, and it'll hurt the whole cryptocurrency space. It'll bleed into Bitcoin. They'll try to blame it on Bitcoin too. So everything is interconnected. People in I know plenty of dudes in the DeFi space that are good dudes that are trying to innovate. Let them innovate over there, and I'm glad Chris wants them to cleanly innovate. And it's a good video. It's a good video there, and Chris he'll return to the show to one of these days. All right, and yeah, DeFi is the flavor of the month. And he's trying to make it put some real substance behind it, not just let's all get into this because it's everyone's talking about it. He wants the people behind it to be actually responsible, and it's centralized. He doesn't want it to be centralized. So check it out. Good critique of it. So there's another guy. Pound that like button too. Oh wait, someone said okay again. Moldova. Two guys said Moldova. Yes, I appreciate people are. I couldn't remember the name of Moldova. Got to get that extra 2 hours sleep I didn't get last night. So here is a dude, a smart guy out there. HODL wave. Let's just call him hold wave because I don't say HODL. Oh, just said it. Even if the ownership, and this is about privacy, people freaking out about privacy. Even if the ownership identity of every UTXO was public information, that doesn't prohibit perfect privacy from being recaptured at some point in the future. All right. So just because it's not private, you made some mistakes now, you can make your Bitcoin private in the future. There are in the present, there are options. There are some complicated things, but you can go down a privacy rabbit hole and make your Bitcoin private. All right. So there's a lot of people who are like, oh, woe is me. Bitcoin has to be private right now. They have to put it in the protocol. They got to change everything up. And people saying, oh, it's horrible. Monero, people say, oh, Bitcoin's terrible because it's not private. Blah, 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 blah. No, personal responsibility, you can make it private. But then he goes on. However, in my opinion, there's a stronger argument that we can only lose security / digital scarcity assurance one time. And I think he means 0 times by that. So think of it this way, guys. There's a lot of people freaking out about privacy out there. But some of these guys are getting into coins that are unlimited amounts, that aren't that secure for various reasons. What Bitcoin people need to worry about is, if Bitcoin all of a sudden changed, was not as scarce, if there were 42 million, if all of a sudden Bitcoin was not as secure, if the main protocol level, if it was changed, if something, people bought into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin because of what it is at the base level there, because there's only going to be 21 million of it, because it cannot be hacked. It's totally secure. It's unconfiscatable. Bitcoin does not need privacy to exist. None of the current value comes from true privacy, okay? It loses most of its credibility if it becomes unreliable and inflated. Okay, people didn't sign up for privacy. They didn't. They did sign up for 21 million. And so if you think otherwise, you're free to fork it off and try something else. And someone is going to try someone else. They're going to come with the FUD that it's, we need more Bitcoin. It should be inflated, blah, blah. And people are going to buy into that. If Bitcoin would at the base level was actually changed, if they said, hey, we're changing it to 42 million now, it would be worthless. It would be you would lose it all. So there you go. The basics, the reliability, the security, the limited supply, that is the base of Bitcoin. That's what people signed up for. And if that's much more important than privacy, okay? Because you can make it private. Once if God forbid it was ever, and it's not, but if it was changed to 42 million, you can't go back. That's it. You lost it. The whole reason people signed up, the whole reliability, gold is gold, okay? Gold isn't all of a sudden becoming sort of gold one day, okay? So Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It can't become sort of Bitcoin one day. It's got to stay as Bitcoin. That is much more important than privacy. Check out that link, and I think it only takes one time to mess up Bitcoin, okay? In terms of in terms of the base layer, so you don't mess around with what it truly is. All right. All right. Privacy and censorship resistance is different. Yes, they are different. I agree with that, Benjamin Imhoff. They are totally different. And so privacy, you can change the privacy aspects. It's not built into Bitcoin. It's not private. Bitcoin is not private. Bitcoin is not private, but there is censorship resistance is there. All right. So now let us move on. And again, and if you don't like Bitcoin, fork it off, make your own version of it, just like they did with Bcash and all this other stuff out there. And we get it for free. That's great. I encourage people, if they don't like the 21 million, make a 42 million Bitcoin, and we'll get it for free. And there are going to be freaks out there because most people are not rational most of the time. People will buy stuff they get for free. We're seeing that with all sorts of crypto dividends. Different subject matter there. So a commenter brought this up when we had Alex on the show last week from Lolli. And you do have to understand that, Lolli is a centralized business. And they have to follow certain rules here. So people are a little angry that there's been some shotgun KYC related to Lolli. That people thought they could withdraw their Bitcoin from Lolli. They earned their Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden Lolli asks, well, who are you? We need some information. And a guy from Lolli straight up says here, Matt Center, they're not hiding anything. Our policy is transparent. Lolli's terms and conditions state that users may need to occasionally provide additional information to verify their identity. Doing our best to distribute Bitcoin to people and operate legally within the current system. There you go. They're a company that operates in the United States of America, and they gotta follow certain rules. So don't be surprised if you get a KYC there for whatever. Is it still getting people into Bitcoin? Yeah, it still is. There's all sorts of things that involve KYC that get people into Bitcoin. Hey, he's creating, Alex and the crew, that they're creating, they're in motion. They're going to do what a lot of people are screaming like, oh, I didn't know this was going on. They're a horrible company. They shotgunned KYC me. And yeah, I know if you weren't expecting it, I can understand. I know where you're coming from. If you didn't think you were going to be able to get your Bitcoin off, and then all of a sudden they're saying, no, you got to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then you get your Bitcoin off. Yeah, it's not a good feeling, but it is. They're not trying to hide it, though. They're not trying to. But whenever you're dealing with a third party, shotgun KYC is something that can happen to you. Let's see. 123 No Scope says, do you think if you have as much as a block reward after the halving, is that good? Wait, what do you mean by that exactly? Do you think if you have as much as a block, if a person hold 6.25. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, you aim, the first thing is called the one Bitcoin show. So get 1, then get 2, then get 6.25. Yeah, baby. Keep on going for that. That's legitimate right there. That's a legitimate thing to shoot for. Yeah, I think it's great. Of course, it's good to have 6.25 Bitcoin. I mean, it's great to have $60,000 worth of Bitcoin for you fiat freaks. I think it's pretty darn good. And for those of you fiat freaks watching in the future, you probably say only 60,000. 6.25 is worth. Oh no, man, it's worth a lot more. So it's a good starting point. It makes sense. I mean, it's a number everyone will be very familiar with after May. Okay. I'm glad I interpreted what you meant there. Good question, though. Good question. Thank you. So, hey, by the way, Prism, I don't know. Prism is the altcoin spammer of the month, by the way. Congratulations, you guys from Prism who leave like hundreds of comments on my comment section. I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is, but it must work. There must be some altcoin freaks out there, some 80%ers that just see Prism and buy it. So, yeah, guys, keep on spamming me. I'm going to keep on erasing you. Just wanted to point out that you're a spam coin and that, God, these things happen. These coins come about so much and people think it's legitimate. Well, yeah, it's a legitimate marketing technique. If I just keep on spamming the comment section of all these people, it just, to me, it's so illegitimate and so scammy looking that I immediately think this must be a complete scam. Maybe it's not. I don't know. You got me to mention your freaking word on there, didn't you? So yeah, I'm just saying it's a spam coin. That I'm concluding with that. Hey, but this is where the big boys play. If you want to spam me, I'll erase you. So we can go back and forth with that for a while. Just in case anyone thought it was a legitimate coin of some sort, all they do is spam. So how's that legitimate? Now, here is a new Twitter feed that I just found. It's new. Well, it's new. So, I mean, I couldn't have known about it in the past. Sats per dollar or sats _per $dollar. It's linked to below. Post sats per dollar every 4 hours. So it's just a Twitter feed that says how many Satoshis are add up to $1. And it's a fun little thing if you want to be distracted during the day and you're a fiat freak, but are slowly transitioning into valuing your wealth in Satoshis. Satoshi Nakamoto, remember, whoever that dude was. Okay, let me see what else. Keep on asking those questions, dudes, and we're getting there. There is a chart out there, and I think a lot of you've probably seen that before. It's the adoption rate of technology in the USA, of certain technologies over time, and it shows how fast, radios and TVs and VCRs and the internet and cars and microwaves, how soon it was close to 100% adoption in the United States. Some of them took longer than others. All right, and then it compares Bitcoin, and Bitcoin adoption is like little, and it just shows you how the potential of Bitcoin. It could go skyrocket its adoption rate, just like all these other ones, adoption rates skyrocketed. Now, do I think that Bitcoin will ever be adopted by 100% of Americans? Well, I will say this: Americans are very good at adopting the top of the line technology out there, smartphones, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have a smartphone. Of all the countries of the world, I think the United States will have the highest Bitcoin adoption rate. Will it ever get to 100%? I don't know. I have said so many times that for the world, Bitcoin doesn't have to be 100% adoption rate for the whole world. It doesn't have to become hyper Bitcoinization for the whole world. Just 20% of the whole world using Bitcoin would be an incredible accomplishment. And so when we get to 20% of Americans adopting Bitcoin, I think that's going to be great. Will it stick there for Americans? No, I think it'll get higher for Americans. And this chart reminded me of a video that I brought up a while ago, and Andy Hoffman actually wrote about it in an article a while ago, that it seems like every 20 years we have these like magnificent revolutions in terms of technology that you can jump in on and just do so well. 20 years ago, it was roughly every 20 years. It was the internet revolution, and a lot of people regretted they couldn't get in on it. And the revolutions keep on getting bigger and bigger. So it's amazing, 20 years later, you've got that chance again. If you were around then and you regret not getting on the internet one, now well, you can get in on this one. And so other revolutions over time, I said, were, radio or newspaper, radio, that involved communication and whatnot. Newspaper, radio, TV, VCR, the computer, personal computer. I can't find the video. I didn't look for the video, but it triggered my memory there a little bit. All right, so that chart did. So look at that chart. Who said, let us know when there's another dividend like MWC, says, of course I will. Of course I will. I've alluded to a friend of mine who was trying to work on one, and unfortunately he can't get the devs to do it. He can't. Developers are so rare out there. He can't find some developers to work on his crypto dividend idea. So, I mean, if you're a developer out there, okay, you've got the world at your fingertips. I mean, if I was a young person, I would tell them to get into. If you've got a technical type of mind, all right, get into be a developer, man, in the cryptocurrency space. All right. If you've got that type of mind. Now, if you're a finance guy, you'll just buy and hold Bitcoin and do other, everyone's mind is wired a little bit differently. But of course, if I know about another crypto dividend, I will tell you about it. But I don't know of anything right now that's legitimate. That's a fork or an airdrop of Bitcoin. There's just some nonsense I heard about. I mentioned some nonsense a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to even look back what that was. And JMax says, let me read this beforehand because you're bringing up someone that I don't like to talk about. Did you see that fake Toshi is now calling blockchain his database? He might be right, as BSV is so centralized. It is a database. No, I didn't see any of this. And you know what? It's such noise. But his cult members follow, they buy the coin when he says things like, no, I didn't see it. It's noise. I mean, he's going to keep on saying all sorts of things. And his people will believe him, and all of us should just ignore it. Okay, so because they are, as I've said, this is where the big boys play. So there are just a lot of guys that all they do is lie. All they do is lie. And that's, as a rational human being, you just have to say, okay, there's liars in this space. I just ignore liars, and I don't get scared by liars and let people lie. If people are going to fall for the lies, I'll call out the lies and just let them do what they're going to do over there. Run away from that stuff. It's noise. It's noise. Okay. There is a lot of you have heard of a digital BitBox before. They're a company, they're a Swiss company. And they're also, obviously, if you're into something that's like a Trezor, a storage device, it's a competitor with Trezor. I've got a digital BitBox. And if you're into that, you're very much into security. They've made another product. It's a tamper-evident package, okay? So if someone messes with the package, you can tell. And it's, you could put your Bitcoin storage device in it, but it's for much more than that. So I link to it below because I respect if they're a company that's into controlling your own private key and they're branching off into other security aspects, which can be intertwined with protecting your private key, then I'm going to talk about it. And I linked to their where they describe this product. It's called BitBox TEP. And they said, despite offering a bounty for successful attacks, none of the alpha testers have managed to break in and reseal the BitBox TEP with the fingerprint intact. So they've developed something that seems, and they go into depth about how they went, people that try to make it seem like their tamper-proof packaging was not tampered with, but they couldn't do it. So, hey, good. There are people out there that are like, how do I know my Trezor wasn't tampered with on the way here? Well, here, this is maybe something that they'll put them in these things in the future. I don't know. So it's in motion. Good. You digital BitBox people, you Swiss people are good. UK Bitcoin Master said, you look really tired. Well, I think it's my beard, but I do need I don't know. It's the light. I don't feel. I should. I need to take a nap. I need to get 2 extra hours. I think I missed 2 hours, but I'm getting up early tomorrow too. All right. So let me see. In motion. So here's a dude that's in motion, an artist guy that's in. We've reached the end of the show here, by the way. But I want to give a shout out to this in motion artist dude. His name is CryptoHWwallet, and it shows you how big this space is. He needs awareness for this. Well, he needs money also, but I'm giving him awareness for a. I started this Twitter just to pitch an adult animated series based off cryptocurrency relationship with AI. And the thread explains exactly what he's trying to do. He's a good artist, good cryptocurrency artist. He's trying to make an animated series about cryptocurrency and AI. I mean, that just shows you how many opportunities are in the Bitcoin space. Because that's related to the Bitcoin space. He's an artist and he's got a story to tell. So check him out. I give him some awareness net there. All right, finally, we got one last question. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Okay, the one last question is 123 Neoscope said, do you think Satoshi is female or male? I'm a male. You're saying it's a 99% chance Satoshi is male? Yeah, it's a male or a group of males. I mean, men are more they're more technically inclined. It sounds like a male. You know, the kind he was very dismissive in one of the. There's a few quotes of him that are kind of very dismissive and harsh, not like something that a woman would say. So, and hey, women, there are plenty of technical women out there, and there's plenty of ways women can get into this space. This is where the big boys and big girls play. But that's the thing. There's no like special outreach from the Bitcoin centralized committee, because there's no to get more women in the Bitcoin. People can try to do that, but Bitcoin attracts the best of every sex. So, but no, the way, just the technical sophistication there and the way he worded some stuff, I default to thinking it's men or a group of men. And but again, there are plenty of women out there who are technically, but it tends toward men. Just like they're more. Nursing tends toward if there was like the ultimate mystery nurse out there, I would say it's a female. It's not a man, it's probably a female. And if the communication style sounded like a female, but yeah, so there's your answer there. But there's a lot of people that want to be politically correct, and they say he/she/them when they're turning. That's such nonsense to me. It's such noise. Just say he. It sounds like a man's name. Just say he. It's not. Don't be offended by that, ladies. But that's just the way it is. It's most likely a guy. But there's all these but politically correct people. You could come here, but this is where the big boys play. So get ready to hear a lot of politically incorrect stuff from dudes like me, who know that fitting in is overrated, and we don't have to fit in because we're in the Bitcoin overlay, and we can't get fired because we don't work for anybody. We work for ourselves. All right. I'm Adam. Pound that like button, bang that bell button. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the links below. Get some shirts below. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Baltimore time. That's 8 a.m. here in El Paso and 3 p.m. in London. We're going to have Asian guests on. Luis and Leo and maybe Tyzen, maybe some other people. Pound it. See you later. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you in the chat.